What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel. You know the drill, folks. More trade rumors regarding the New York Mets. We got to deep dive this latest report. But before I do, guys, if you end up enjoying this quick Mets update on all the latest news and trade rumor front, don't hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you guys so much. But let's just dive right in this one as we've been doing previous content, folks, because the Mets have been going after a lot of significant names out there in the trade rumor front, as we're right around a week away from this year's MLB trade deadline. And as you see here from the latest report from Pat Ragazzo, great friend on the channel that covers the Mets on the beat through an affiliate through Sports Illustrated, has come out and said that yes, the Mets have been in active trade discussions with the Chicago Cubs and tried to land both Willson, Contreras, and David Robertson. And this goes back to all the way going back to this past weekend and is ongoing as we speak. So guys, don't hesitate for making sure to check out that article after you watch this video. Pat does a great job on the beat for the Mets, but on the channel a lot of times. Absolutely love that guy. But we talked about Willson Contreras. We talked about David Robertson a lot. I even discussed it earlier today, my latest podcast, folks. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to do it after this one as well, for Bleav in Queens, with our third and final co-host on the show, and that is a former New York Met, as you see here, and Anthony Recker. Yes, the former New York Met, current analyst for MLB Network. Make sure to check out the pod on the YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts, folks. But jumping right back into this discussion, I've discussed Willson Contreras at length in previous videos and streams, as I have David Robertson. And in our live stream yesterday that we did on the latest trade rumors and all that fun stuff, check it out as well if you missed it. I did discuss how the Mets are heavy in on both Willson Contreras and the likes of David Robertson. However, we know that asking price, what we saw in a recent report from Michael Marino, who's been helping out Pat for Sports Illustrated as well, looks like that the asking price is quite a bit, so the Mets have really shifted focus heavy on the likes of Trey Mancini. And while the Mets currently are still very much in talks to potentially land Trey Mancini, the big bat from the Baltimore Orioles, now this report from Pat is saying that yes, the Mets are still very much in on Contreras, very much in on Robertson, and right now, according to Pat, it's, and I quote, the Mets are committed to landing both Contreras here, and then all of a sudden, he is, of course, the current focus now leading up to the August 2nd trade deadline. In order to acquire these guys, the Mets will have to give up a couple prospects, and the biggest thing for me, folks, and I want to know what your opinions are down below in the comments as always, is what would the Mets have to give up, right? Because we were under the notion, at least for a while, that the Mets were trying to avoid a similar situation that happened at last year's trade deadline, where they had a blockbuster deal with the Cubs in which they landed Javi Baez and Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams has been awesome. He's been great, honestly, for the Mets as a long reliever and spot starter when needed. Javi Baez, however, walked in for agency. The Mets did not bring him back, and they coughed up arguably their top outfield prospect at the time in Pete Crow Armstrong. Now you look at the Mets, and what's been reported here, as you see from Pat Ragazzo, is that this would be strictly a prospect-heavy type deal for the Mets, and in which you're giving up a couple prospects between the 5 to 15 range. So naturally, I understand the Mets going all in this year, and I'm for that. I will just say I would be a little surprised, I guess not too surprised, with them bolstering this prospect pool after having a phenomenal draft, the #1 draft according to MLB Pipeline, in case you guys don't know. So the Mets have more flexibility with parting ways with guys. However, when you're going after rentals, there's always that risk. Are the Mets going to bring back Willson Contreras in the situation where they acquired him? I don't expect them to. Again, anything's possible. And David Robertson, he's going to be 38 years old before the season ends. So it's interesting, however, because you're looking at not a Brett Beatty and not a Francisco Alvarez. According to Pat here, it's been made abundantly clear that the Mets are not parting with either of their top two prospects. However, the likes of Ryan Mauricio, Mark Vientos, going down the list a little bit further, maybe even Alex Ramirez, who's the Mets' top outfield prospect, are all kind of in the cards, along with some pitching guys out there. I do know that's been widely reported that the Cubs really like Dom Smith, so I do have to wonder if Dom could be a potential factor in a deal with the Cubs as well. Maybe that'll sweeten the pot just a little bit so the Mets can just give up, say, 2 prospects that they're okay with. One of them will be a top one. If one of them is going to be a top one for rental, in my personal opinion, I am willing to bite the bullet for either Mauricio or Vientos. I would say probably go more the Mauricio route, just because of the fact that he is blocked in the future, whereas Vientos can come up potentially within the next year or so, maybe even less, to be an impactful bat at the third base or DH position. He's not going to get time at first with Pete Alonso at the helm there. So the Mets have a lot of interesting options right now. And again, these rumors have been ever changing by the second, by the hour, by the day. We've been covering them the best that we can on the channel. We will leading up to the deadline, as you guys have seen this point. but there's no denying that the Mets can do a blockbuster deal for Willson Contreras, who is without doubt the best catcher out there right now, one of the best in all the game. Is he known for his backstop as he is known for his ability at the plate? No, he's not as much of a plus defender as McCann and Nito are, and with having to make a quick adjustment to the pitching staff, what they can obviously do is bring in someone like Contreras and have him DH maybe every 1 of 3 games or every 2 of 3 games. I mean, they can get creative. Willson Contreras brings something that the Mets desperately need, and that's a guy that can kill left-handed pitching. He has over 900 OPS in his career against left-handers, and especially this season has over 1,000 OPS for Contreras, who again is having an all-star year for the Chicago Cubs. This man has been on another level with 14 home runs, 50 runs scored, and 37 RBIs, a 258 average, a 374 on base, a 473 slug, a 140 WRC plus, which means he's in the 40 percentile higher than the average player in baseball right now. Contreras, who was emotional in a recent interview, he doesn't want to leave Chicago. I know that feeling. We saw that with Chris Bryant and others part of this core group in which they won a championship a couple years ago. However, times are changing. They are rentals, and a lot of teams, including the Mets now, have zoned in, according to these reports, that are fully focused, fully committed to try and get a deal done, to the point where this deal right now is getting to the point of just tweaking the package. They've already advanced in talks to a degree that is far greater than where they got with the Nationals for Josh Bell. Maybe it's even greater than where they have gone right now with Trey Mancini, because Trey Mancini trade talks have heated up a lot over the past 24 hours that we've discussed on the channel over the past day. However, can the Mets maybe go out and not just like Contreras, Robertson, but still get Mancini? I don't think it's impossible. However, I would say it's unlikely. But one thing is certain, folks, should the Mets land one of Mancini or Contreras, that gives them the option, should they wish, not saying it will happen, not saying it's a guarantee, but it does give the Mets the option to go out and seek one more bat if they want to. Contreras being at the backstop / DH, that gives you flexibility to still go out and consider maybe a little bit of a lesser bat value-wise, but can be impactful. And a guy that has always stood out to me is another guy that kills left-handed pitching and can play third, especially with Eduardo Escobar struggling all year long, and that is Brandon Drury from the Cincinnati Reds. I'm really interested to see if the Mets will be tagged with him at all, should they land again a Contreras or a Mancini, or if they're going to just stamp out with that bat. Again, you're going to have to give up some prospect capital here, maybe more than you want to for these rentals. However, the immediate impact that Contreras gives you is absolutely bar none the best possible. This is what this Mets team needs. They need a bona fide catcher, let alone an offensively gifted catcher, a guy that can split DH time and catching time. That's what you get in Contreras. And David Robertson, we've discussed him at length, so I won't do it too much more here. But in roughly 40 innings a season, he's 11.4 K per 9 to over a 4 walk per 9. Don't love the walk ratio, but again, if they were able to combat that with Adam Ottavino, I expect them to be able to do the same with Robertson in that setup role, and to be actually that close guy when you don't have Edwin Diaz available to be your save artist from time to time. He has a sub 2 ERA on the year, a 3 expected ERA, a 3.5 FIP. I mean, David Robertson is age 37 season, has still been an absolute stud, and there's no denying that if the Mets can land both these guys, this will without question help take the Mets over the top to not just stay afloat at first in the NL East, but take things to a new level down the stretch come playoff time, landing 2 guys that have playoff caliber, knows what it takes to win, being in playoffs, winning World Series. You get that type of I don't even want, what's the right word, gravitas, whatever you want to call it. You bring these guys in the lineup, they aren't just impactful right away to areas of need the most at catcher, and that's setup / bullpen, right? That's huge for the Mets, but you get guys again that have experience, knows what it takes to win, and are great for the clubhouse from everything that we've seen. David Robertson kills left-hand batters the same way he kills right-hand batters, so you don't even need to go out your way to make sure you get a lefty specialist, in which the Mets failed at earlier this year, and Joely Rodriguez and Chasen Shreve. Shreve has been DFA'd and is a free agent. Rodriguez, I'd imagine, will be soon because he has been absolutely piss poor. Mets need help in the bullpen. David Robertson is that guy. Billy Epler knows him during his long time with the Yankees as assistant GM to Brian Cashman. Helped draft him, as a matter of fact, in the Bronx. And then Contreras, that's the best of both worlds, folks. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do here. All I know is that buckle up. The rumors are going to continue. We are going to see what transpired. But it looks like the Mets are in great hands to land a big bat and a big reliever or two at absolute minimum right now, folks. And maybe maybe even a little bit more, depending on exactly how much they're giving up. Again, they're zoning in. They're committed to landing Willson Contreras right now. So should that commitment stay, you're looking at Willson landing in Queens sooner than later. Maybe they're still going to go out and get Mancini if they can get him at the right price, maybe just without tagging a reliever to him. Should you get Robertson from the Cubs? A lot of options out there for the Mets. They're weighing them all, and it looks like there's a great chance that they will make a move happen prior to this year's trade deadline on August 2nd. So Mets fans, let me know all your thoughts and comments below. How do you feel about these latest news/rumors regarding the New York Mets now connected with the Chicago Cubs for a potential blockbuster deal for the second consecutive year by this MLB trade deadline? Are you okay with the Mets giving up some key prospects potentially to land impactful bats and truly impactful players right away on the Mets, and Contreras and Robertson filling those areas of need? Or would you prefer personally that the Mets maybe do not allocate those assets to rentals, and rather, if they're going to do that, just wait till the offseason to see what they have now? Personally, I want the Mets to do anything and everything they possibly can to win now and win this season, as long as you're not giving up too much. And if you're not giving up Alvarez, if you're not giving up Beatty, you have options. Just don't give up Alex Ramirez. I think that's the biggest thing I would say. That's the Mets' top outfield prospect right now. If they give up him to the Cubs for a second consecutive year like they did with PCA, that's going to frustrate me. I'm not going to lie. So don't give up Ramirez. I'm okay with one of Mauricio and Vientos because, one, they don't have great fits on the roster going forward, but Mauricio especially is blocked. So guys, make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments as always. And again, if you found yourself enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to stay tuned for more great Mets content on the channel, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell, all those great things. Again, guys, make sure to check out the Bleav in Queens podcast with Anthony Recker now as our third and final co-host. The pods will be coming out after every Mets series all throughout the year, so stay tuned, guys. We'll be doing a great job and just the beginning. Thanks to all you lovely viewers and listeners. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you again real soon. As always, let's go Mets, baby.